As a child, we all long for a hero. As a society as a whole, we search for that leader that can be our hero. But as we mature and as we grow, it dawned on us that the hero is inside every one of us. And in the world's social media, we all start at zero. And slowly we search deep within ourselves to find who we are. And we have that moment of truth where we embrace that the hero that we've been searching for has been there all along. It is living deep inside of every one of us. And we start embracing that journey and we become that hero that we search for.
Hey everybody, good morning and welcome to episode 64 of Zero to Hero. Got another great guest coming at you today. She is the owner of Hartline Construction. Her name is Jennifer Hart, so let's go ahead and bring her in. Jennifer, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me today.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for coming. I'm so excited to talk to you. So tell me a little bit about what you guys do there at Hartline Construction.
So I am Jennifer Hart, and I am owner of Hartline Construction. I started Hartline Construction in 2011. I am a degreed in architecture and was practicing architecture during the recession of 08 and 09, and I found myself furloughed.
Oh, geez.
So I actually turned to helping be a project manager for a construction company, and I liked it. The only thing I didn't like was it was an HVAC company, and I wanted to get back to the basics of what I wanted to do, which is general construction and what I consider the architectural scope of commercial architectural, metal stud, drywall, acoustical ceiling tile, flooring, tile, anything in that realm and not in the HVAC world. So I just was actually on a job site and I had a GC come up to me and say, have you considered doing this yourself? And I said, why would I do that? And I started thinking about it. Actually went home and had a conversation with my husband who does HVAC construction. And he said, why don't you do it? And so with his encouragement, I opened up Hartline Construction and we started small with some projects here in Kansas City, Missouri. I was able to get WDBE certified as I am 100% owner of Hartline Construction, and there is no other person that owns it except for me. Opened up Hartline Construction in 2011 and we hit the ground with some small projects. And now, as of 2022, we just finished doing a large scope at the new KCI airport. So it has been a journey. We've learned a lot along the way. I've had a lot of mentors. UMKC PTAC has helped me. SBA has helped me. Kaufman Fast Track has helped me. The one thing I didn't do in architecture school was take a business class. So in order to not be a statistic, I found quickly some classes that I could take in order to run a business, knew how to build the buildings and how they could go together. And one thing I didn't know was how to make it work. So jumped into some really good classes that were offered here in the Kansas City area, which everybody can take advantage of, and learned how to run a business. So again, we've been here now since 2011. We've had 3 different locations, all in Kansas City, Missouri. Right now, we're brick and mortared over at 63rd and Rock Hill Road. And then we have a shop in North Kansas City. So that's kind of we are GCs. We do projects from probably $7 million and under, $4,000 to $7 million projects. We are signatory to the union. And we do union labor. I wanted people that were 5-year educated union people to support Hartline Construction. That way they're in a program, they know what they're doing. We are signatory to the carpenters and the laborers and the painters and the tile setters. So, and the operators. So we can put together on our own, we can self-perform all of those scopes. And then we would sub out what I call the MEP, the mechanical, the electrical, and the plumbing.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think a lot of people don't really understand what a general contractor is. Maybe not the common person. It's really from that design to the build and everything in
Mhm.
between is really handled by a GC. Where if you come across a carpenter or a remodeler, they're very nichey, very specific to doing those. So, with those larger projects, obviously a great option here for anybody in Kansas City or outside of Kansas City. And like you said, that could be a $10,000 deck build. That could
Yes, it
be
could. Mhm.
$7 million,
Mhm.
apartment complex, whatever the case is. So that is awesome. I've seen you guys have done some awesome projects around Kansas City. I didn't know about the airport. Congratulations on that. That's
Mhm.
fantastic. But I saw on the website, obviously Argosy was up there, some other cool
Mhm.
projects. So is there anything else that you would want to highlight that you guys have been a
You
part of
know,
around Kansas City?
I think what makes Hartline Construction unique is it's owned totally by a female, and
Yeah.
that we self-perform. A lot of GCs are just managing right now.
Hmm.
The fact that we are a GC that can self-perform the metal stud, drywall, acoustical ceiling tile, the demolition. We do selective concrete. So if there's any concrete work inside in our projects, we would self-perform that also. So if it's a much larger job, we have a wonderful mentor protege with E&K of Kansas City. And we actually worked with E&K of Kansas City at the airport. And we did 20% of the metal stud drywall acoustical ceiling tile at the airport, including the wood ceilings, if anyone has been out there.
Ooh,
Beautiful hemlock
they
ceilings.
are beautiful. Yeah, I
Hartline,
know what you're talking
working
about.
with E&K of Kansas City, was able to do that. One thing
That's
that
awesome.
that some of these classes has taught Hartline Construction that I've taken is to partner up with someone that is bigger than you. E&K only does the carpentry scope. They're not GCs where we are. So where to strengthen our company, we will work together with a company like that to make us stronger. And worked with them at the airport too. That wasn't our only project. We did self-perform by ourselves at the airport also.
Yeah, that
So
is awesome.
what makes us unique is we are a GC, but we do have the self-performing scope. So we can also work alongside the Turners and the J. Dunns and the wonderful and the Gowan Gordons, and we can do a subcontract for them on a project in that architectural scope, or we can take a project and be a GC also. So I think we're a little bit of a hybrid, if you want to call us that.
Yeah, well, and obviously your architecture background, I don't feel like you typically see too many GCs that go from the architecture to being a general contractor.
Mhm.
Maybe sometimes the other way around a little bit, but obviously that's, I'm sure, a huge tool that you guys lean on, as well as being women owned and breaking those barriers, which is fantastic. And you've been doing it for such a long time now, which is also awesome.
And when that door closed and I was thinking to myself, what am I going to do now? Because architecture has definitely dried up and has not started back up here during that recession. And whenever that other door opened up and I saw construction had not had that, the fall off like architects had at that time, it just opened up another door. And it did. It allowed anyone that has a degree needs to think out of that scope and say, what else can this degree do for me? And then if that degree, like mine, I felt like I needed more business background, reach out to that and grab the business skill to learn it and get to be strong. Anytime you are in a more diverse area, like there's not a lot of females that own construction companies. At the time that I was in architecture school, there weren't a lot of females in architecture school. You need to be stronger in that area and learn more and educate yourself on being the better of that, so that you can succeed. And a lot of people say, how hard is it to be a female in this world? Yeah, but it is hard, but make it stronger. Learn by the heroes of the past how they became heroes, like the Lucille Balls and the Eleanor Roosevelts. How did they do it in their time? Because they were definitely leaders. And so, and then I do try to live by not too much is given, much is expected. I really do try to help the other females and minorities in the area that are doing what I'm doing, and to try to tell them you can do it too. If you need to be educated in another field, just educate yourself so you can be stronger.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was actually going to ask you about that as well, because Kansas City does have such a great entrepreneur network
Mhm.
and entrepreneurs that are willing to help other entrepreneurs, to name a few, Isaac Collins from
Yeah.
Yogurtini that, is
Mhm.
throwing out classes on franchising, and there's some other
Mhm.
coaches out there that do the same thing. So what has your experience been? Yeah, obviously you've spoken on it a little bit, but what has your experience been with the network of entrepreneurs around Kansas City, and what's it been
We're
like
so
for you?
fortunate. We are so fortunate. Kaufman right here in my back door. The SBA that's located down at UMKC. I mean, my mentor meets with me monthly,
Love that.
and always picks. I have a phone call with another mentor through SBA today at 1:30, just checking in on me and seeing how we are. They actually put me up for Small Business Person of the Year for 2022, and
Congratulations.
it was incredible. I still keep pinching myself and saying, how can it be me when there's so many wonderful small businesses? But I was chosen for that last year, and that was great recognition when we were coming out of COVID and things had been so quiet. It was just wonderful recognition to think, okay, we're still moving this forward. So there's just ways to push it forward, and we're just very fortunate. As well as Clark White's Clarkson offered a wonderful strategic partnership program right before the airport started, getting involved in, and I know all kinds of organizations have those same. J.E. Dunn has a wonderful program. Turner has a wonderful program. Just take advantage of all the networking and all the teachings that are provided for you. And don't think that you're too old to learn. You're never too old to learn. Everyone can learn, and even people in their 80s are learning. So just keep it going.
Yeah, absolutely. Matter of fact, if you're not trying to learn every day, you're falling
Mhm.
behind because everybody else is keeping up on that train for
And
sure.
then,
So
the other thing is whatever your weakness is, find someone that can do that for you. Like I was having technical difficulty here and brought Cheyenne from our office in, and she was able to figure out what was wrong. Find the person that's going to make you look stronger and make your company look stronger. I mean that. I think Lucille Ball said, "Knowing what you can't do is more important than knowing what you can do."
that's powerful.
And I think that she's the one that penned that, and it's true. I mean, if you've got to know what you need to do to make your company stronger. Like Hartline Construction has always fielded out their payroll. CBIZ has always made us strong in our payroll. And I've never had to worry about it. I mean, we've had to worry about inputting it, but they take care of all of it. And I think you need to find out, if you're going to be a small business, what do you not want to do? Let that other person do that. Accounting, find a good accountant. There's so many things that you think, well, I have to do all this in-house. If you can find someone else to take that burden off you, your company's going to be so much stronger.
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely understand that at J29 probably more than a lot do, being an outside vendor, right? And
Mhm.
it's
Yep.
something even within our company, right? Our founder Kevin talks about a lot of, you
Yes.
can't be an expert at everything, right? I mean, he's good at, the creative side and the software side, right? He leans on
Mhm.
Jen, our other founder, for quite a few things as well, right? So
Mhm.
yeah, that's 100% true. You're never going to be the best at everything. So find those people in that good support system. Very, very important. Well, Jennifer, let's get into the meat of the show here. So, not really Hartline Construction, but who is Jennifer Hart? Give us the elevator pitch about you.
So I think I've already mentioned a little bit on it. I have a degree from Kansas State University in architecture. I practiced architecture for HNTB. I did take a sabbatical and raised three boys, always having architecture right there in my back pocket. Continued with all my continuing education, CAD certification. So I was ready to go back as soon as I could. As I say, when I take a sabbatical, I was still designing decks, remodels, keeping my foot in the door, and had my own small practice going on the side always. Then when I went back to work as an architect to practice architecture, and the economy hit, obviously I was out the door, but found another tool, and started Hartline Construction. So I also am very involved in volunteer work. As I said, unto much is given, much is expected. I'll love to sit on boards and give and learn from the people on the boards. Right now, I'm currently on Kansas City Community Gardens, which we're thrilled to be partnering up with the NFL right now, NFL Green right now. They've come in and they've been working with Kansas City Community Gardens, which is actually located in Swope Park, excuse me, off of Gregory. And they have been assisting us with some of our gardens all over Kansas City. It's wonderful to be on that board. I think I've been on that board for at least 6 years. I'm currently the secretary. Also work with a group called Working Family Friends, and all they do is help people whenever maybe times are down for them with their labor, pay their bills, pay their mortgage. They really came in and helped a lot of people during COVID that were let go.
Wow.
So Working Family Friends, which is located in the old United Way building off of, I think it's 12th Street in downtown. Wonderful beyond. I've been on Sheffield Place, which is a homeless shelter for women's board. No longer am part of that board, but wonderful board. They're off of Front Street around 12th Street, and love working with them. They empower women with their children to get a new start. And it's a wonderful organization. Just finished one of my, the Builders Association, finished up a stint by being a board member there. And I think it's very important when you are in a field that you give to your local support group, which is the Builders Association of Kansas City, which is now Builders of Kansas City. So those are three organizations I believe in. I belong to Village Presbyterian Church, and again, avidly give back to the community as much as I can, as well as Hartline Construction. Right now we have 40 plus employees.
Wow.
With the airport, we were up to 90. What's wonderful about being union, there's always work for a union person to go to. So while we were also, this was a wonderful program out at the airport. We actually found people through the workforce training program that was not in construction, and we were able to help hire them within and work on the airport. And then as the airport's projects were slowing down, they were able to find work elsewhere, like some of the larger projects that are going on, like Facebook and Panasonic, going to work for another company that is employing union people. That's important. Giving the people of Kansas City a way to make a decent wage. And these larger projects are happening. I like to think it's because of our wonderful airport that's happening, but and that we were part of it. But I just think giving back as you have been given to is so important. So that's a little bit about me. I have a wonderful husband that has a mechanical background, and he works for a construction company here in town. I have three wonderful boys, one that lives in California and is a scientist, and I have two that live locally, and it's wonderful to see them, and have 9 grandchildren with one on the way. So it's a very full life for us. We love being here in Kansas City. I was born and bred here, and plan to stay here for the rest of my life.
Yeah, my father heart hurts for your mother heart. I actually was a transplant to California myself for quite a while, and I know that put my mom through the ringer, not being able to see me as often as she'd like. So I feel for you there. But I'm sure
what's wonderful about that is this world. What has happened out of COVID was that we've realized that there was this technical area that we had not broken into, and COVID forced us to do that. So while COVID was so hard on our country and us and our community, one thing it did do is it allowed us to know that we can still communicate. So I do feel like we see our son Ryan out in California because of all the social media and the virtual. It's been a blessing to have all that.
Yeah, no, it is wonderful. And unfortunately, when I was there, that wasn't quite as much of an option for us.
My heart hurts for you.
Hers was too, but yeah, staying connected is so very important. There were other ways to do it back then as well. But I want to back up a little bit. Just talking about Kansas City. I mean, it is such an exciting time to be a Kansas Citian, right?
Mm-hmm.
With all the things, obviously the draft happening this weekend, which, in part due to that airport as well, and Panasonic being built, Meta being built. It's, massive opportunities for construction companies like yours. So what are some of the ways that you've capitalized and getting your foot in the door there? Was it more through the partnerships, or tell me a little bit about it?
So obviously, when the airport, the thought of the airport was coming up, we started thinking, how are we going to get involved? Clark White's Clark's offered this wonderful class called Strategic Partnership Program. Like I said, I've taken advantage of every class there is in town because I want to try to grow Hartline Construction and see what I don't know. And the bigs know how to do it. They're successful. Yeah. The Clarks, the Whites, the Clarksons, the J.E. Dunns, the McGowan Gordons, the Turners, they've made it. They've done it. And a lot of them have come into Kansas City. So why not learn from them? So I got involved in the Strategic Partnership class. And it was introduced to Clark. And because of that relationship, I actually was one of the first to graduate from their program, and just got to know them. And that's what I want to say to every small person, small business out there. Get to know the person in your trade that's moving it forward, moving the meta forward, moving the Panasonic. I went to a networking session on Panasonic this week, and met the people in charge of that, and got to meet actually the people with Panasonic that are going to be bringing that to DeSoto. How incredible that they're going to be bringing all this labor and all this work to the Kansas side. We've had this wonderful opportunity here on the Missouri side. Now we're going to have this wonderful opportunity on the Kansas side. How blessed are we? And then we have this incredible airport to now bring everyone there. Talked with a friend the other day, and she actually said she's making, she has to go from one side of the country to the next, and she needed a place to have an overlay. They picked Kansas City, just because she said we talk about all the new wonderful restaurants that are now available at Kansas City. So she's going to have a 3-hour overlay here and get to see a lot of the concessions in Kansas City. And Hartline was very fortunate. Once Clark introduced us to the airport, and we built what we call a white box. We built the metal stud drywall, helped build the metal stud drywall, acoustical ceiling tile, for then another company to come in and build the concessions. Then we were introduced to a company that was building out the concessions for the aviations. Because of that introduction from Clark, we were able to build out several of the concessions of the white boxes. Already knew the building, already had people on site. It was a win-win. And we're still completing items for that right now. Just getting the visual, and me, I mean, just starting the company in 11 with 7 employees and growing to what we are now. Always look for that next opportunity. And Clark allowing me to get involved in that strategic partnership class, I met people, minorities, veterans, and other women. I thought I knew everyone. I've been doing this for 7 years and networking for 7 years. Met a company by the name of Parrish and Sons Construction I never knew. I found out about an opportunity at KCATA about a project that we needed to partner up with a trucking company, and they were that company. And I never would have known Clark and Fatima Parrish had it not been for strategic partnership. So bid this job before the airport even started. I was working with partnerships that I'd met from the class for the airport. We were successful in getting that bid. Obviously, you have to have low bid and you have to prove that you can do the project. So Hartline and Parrish and Sons Construction was able to give KCATA their first 100% small business local construction project. And it was way before the airport started. Never would have met them had I not taken the time to take the strategic partnership class and graduate. So you think, do I have time to do all this? Yeah, you got to make time to do it, because it's going to push your company forward. And you're going to meet people that you didn't think you knew, that you thought you would never meet, that you do now know.
I love that. That's so good. Well, tell us a little bit about the social media journey. So with Hartline Construction, but also on the personal side a little bit.
Okay, so again, social media, didn't know a lot about it. So brought in someone to the office that knew more about social media, and that person is the point person. Obviously, today I was having trouble getting the old computer going. Brought Cheyenne, and she was able to help us. So it's huge. Being able to being able to post things on Facebook, keeping your website up, which every time it needs to be updated. I think back on when I first got started, we didn't have email. Can you imagine? I mean, now that's how we bid projects, on portals through the internet. It used to be that you had to drive across town or get a plane flight to the place where you were turning in the bid. There was nothing like these portals now. So everything has changed. The internet has made our life a little bit crazier, but so much better. I mean, and talking with you today, I mean, it is wonderful opportunity. And anyone that feels it's not important needs to pull someone in that can help their company really make it stronger.
I love that. That's an excellent point there, right at the end. Yeah, and it's so funny. It's so free to do it, right? I mean, to tell people about Hartline Construction, before, right? Before Hartline was really open,
Mhm.
right? But
Mhm.
before social media, it was you had to take out an ad, right? Or call the
Yep.
paper or
Mhm.
put on a commercial or a radio ad or something like that. Literally all we have to do is open up our computer, take a picture,
Mhm.
post it up there with some text, and we're telling people about what we're doing, right? So
Well, and
uh,
yes, correct. I mean, even think about our fundraising, the fundraising during COVID. I mean, I'm also very, very involved in JDRF. My brother's a type 1. I have a son that's a type 1 diabetic, and I have a daughter-in-law that's a type 1 diabetic, and I have a nephew that's a type 1 diabetic, and
oh
it's
my.
very deep into my husband's family. So JDRF is in our heart, and they're getting ready to have their fundraiser next Saturday. And we were not able to make several of them during COVID. They held them online. And we made amazing money so that we could continue the research so that the next generation of hearts don't have it.
Mm,
And that's what we're working towards. So I didn't mention JDRF. I do not sit on that board, but they are deep to my heart because we are trying so hard to get a cure. Insulin is not a cure, and we need a cure. So, like I
right.
said, the next heart will not be type 1 diabetic.
Yeah, it is funny that we get these treatments, and I feel like there's so many of them that we've kind of convinced ourselves, right, that like that's what it is, right? And they're really just treatments, and they're not
They
cures,
are.
right? It's not going away. So
No,
I
it's
love
your,
that you brought that
you
up.
still are, but yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Jennifer, every superhero has a defining moment. What do you think yours is when it comes to your life and career?
You know, personally, just being married for almost 40 years
Wow.
to one person that was my high school sweetheart.
Wow.
Very fortunate that I found him. But I will say that relationship with Clark and getting the opportunity to do our incredible airport and having the support of the wonderful Hartline labor to make it happen and to stick with me whenever we had 5 months to build 8 spaces white boxed out from the airport and having them stick with me and say, we can do this. I am only as strong as the people that are behind Hartline Construction and the men and women that stayed and worked 7 days, 12-hour days to make that all happen at the airport. But Clark giving me the opportunity to meet the next company that would allow me to do the beyond the white box. That was incredible given to a person that really in 2008 didn't know where she was going to go, and wanted to and had a whole chunk of her life still to live. So I would say the airport is definitely right now my hero moment. Being able to give back to the community, being able to support JDRF, being able to support Kansas City Community Gardens, Working Family Friends, Sheffield Place, being able to just say, I can help support you because someone believed in me and allowed me to get the education to move it forward. That's a hero moment. Just giving back.
I love that. I love that. And what attributes do you feel define a hero?
Being able to see that other person,
Mm,
um, um, compassion. I think the one thing I hear about Heartline the most, and I'm not saying this, the people that work with Heartline say this, is it's more family. We we look at the person and we have empathy for the person. And if someone's going through a difficult time, we try to understand why and we try to support them. And I think that is key. You need to never lose sight that person might be going through something as well as me. I want them to be able to say that to me too and say, maybe she's having a rough day or man, she's having a great day. Just look at the person and think about what they are doing and what can you do to help support them. I think that makes you stronger and makes you that hero.
absolutely. It's going to build a great company culture. I can guarantee you that as well. So that's awesome. All right, Jennifer, last question here for you. If you had to pick a superhero that relates best to Jennifer Hart, who would that be? And tell us a few reasons why.
Um, you know, gosh, Eleanor Roosevelt, she did it, didn't she? She really set the scene for all of us and what we could live up to. Locally, the women in construction that have really supported me during this journey, going from architecture into construction. Rosie Privatera Biondo, who is the president of Mark One, she picks up the phone every time I call, and she is
Oh,
one busy lady. You got to go to the people in your town that can support you. All the people over at SBA, UMKC, PTAC, Jill Hathaway, who is my coach, who again, I can text any time of the day and she'll get back to me. I guess there's just not one. There's so many people that have helped me along this journey to try to get to that hero moment of where we were able to produce a lot of the projects out at the airport to make it be successful. So there's so many people that have helped us. It's hard to define just one person.
Kansas City entrepreneurs, it sounds like.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
You just said it.
That's awesome.
You just said it. Yes.
That's awesome. I love that. Well, Jennifer, thank you so much for coming on the show. How can people keep up with Hartline Construction, get connected with you?
Absolutely. Our very basic website, which is always changing, is hartlinekc.com. And if you'll just even Google Jennifer Hart, chances are you're going to find me and the website. You'll get my emails at the very bottom of it, which is jhart@hartlinekc.com. And I so appreciate you giving us this platform so that we could tell you a little bit about us, and just so appreciate all of the other general contractors in Kansas City for making us strong.
That is awesome. Well, thank you for coming on the show. I definitely wanted to hear your story as well. So I appreciate you making time out of your day to come do this. And everybody out there, thanks for tuning in and watching. I hope everybody has a great day.
Thank you so much.
Hey, are we still live? Hey guys, we're still live. Hey guys, this is Kevin Kwok, founder of J29 Creative Group. So who are we? We're a marketing agency here in Kansas City. We're all about a holistic approach to marketing that builds your brand and nurtures online community. But to be honest with you, you guys don't care.